So not too long ago, I started something that most would probably consider a New Year's resolution, maybe even a weight loss journey. I went from what was about 72 kilograms to what is 67. I went from not being able to see anything through the layers to what is somewhat of a visible rectus abdominis. Through all of that, I noticed something. I kind of had an epiphany, they would probably say. Can't decide which way to walk. And it hit me like full on, but it doesn't seem that anybody's really talking much about it, that it's verbalized. I looked around quite a bit. It's sort of a quiet topic. On the journey, on the way down, dropping kilograms, there were a few things that I thought were difficult, that I perceived as difficult, but now it seems like there's only one thing that out of all of that stood out, because everything else seemed quite a lot easier. Quite a lot easier by comparison, at least. That being the getting up in the morning, getting up for cardio, putting those running shoes on for cardio, getting onto the road, choosing one meal over another, eating less, eating healthier. Dropping certain habits, picking up more ones, being more active, trying to have more fun physically. All of those things were daunting in the beginning, but one thing stood out. One thing was horrible. That was looking down while having a seat, looking down and reminding myself that there's quite a bit of work to do. Looking down and telling myself, hey, I almost fell on my face now. Looking down and telling myself that, hey, that isn't you. That doesn't belong there. That basically the most negative things I can think of. And all of that being said, that tore me down. That ripped me up. That gave me the least motivation out of everything. Sweating, bleep tests, long distance runs, in the middle of the day in the heat. Nothing compares, nothing comes close to the constant reminder that something's wrong. But that's a skill also. That's a skill, that a special skill. When you notice the negative very often, more often than not, it's a skill. It's called depression. How ironic, climbing out of a hole, climbing out of the bucket makes you depressed. Depending on how you get out, obviously. See, that's probably the cool thing about having a PT or something like that. That thinking process, that whole analysis, there are things you shouldn't have to think about. That someone else can think for you. That someone else can do the calculations. Someone else can stress about for you while you just show up. Perks, they say, perks. Some lovely dogs here today. Perks, they would call it. But the most interesting part, like I said, was the epiphany that I was using a habit. I was adopting a habit that most people that are down in the dumps are using. It's constantly beating yourself up for something that might have been justified at the time. Never mind that. Maybe you have a New Year's resolution. Maybe you have something you're trying to do that's a step up. Maybe you are familiar. Maybe you resonate with what I've just said. Maybe you felt it as that yourself. Maybe you've gone through it yourself. If you did, let us know. Let me know. Otherwise, for now, try and avoid that. Blessings.